Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are, and welcome back to the channel. The gym, that's one of the places, the hotbeds, if I may call it that, of cheating. Uh, when you go to the gym instructors, a lot of the people who go to the gym, they're very fit. Also, all of them are very virile, testosterone everywhere. So, if you do have a woman that frequents the gym, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. In fact, I encourage it. This is why you have to be extremely careful with the person that you get married to or the person you're dating because temptation is everywhere and there's nowhere where temptation, at least the temptation that exists in the gym environment. Now, this particular gentleman here is called Martel Metellus, who's a personal trainer. So he's going to talk to us, or going to tell us, or at least inform us what being a gym instructor taught him about women. And yeah, let's listen in. I haven't actually listened to this myself. Let's see what he has to say about all that.
Course, I know some people are gonna think like I'm saying something crazy, but I would have these crazy experiences where, obviously I'm a trainer, I'm here to make money, I'm making money, and I'm working with these women, and they start to get really flirtatious, right? And you start to wonder because you know that they're married because they came with their husbands in that consultation. Their husbands were sitting in that consultation. Their husbands were egging them on to actually be trained by me, and they were all for it. And then once the husband left and they were just me and them in the gym, right? They would start to, say flirtatious things. They say, "Oh, you're so attractive. Like, oh, your muscles. I love how you look. Like, oh my God, like you're so amazing. I wish my husband was like that."
And this is the thing, because a lot of these situations, it's because a lot of gym instructors actually are not disciplined. And most of them will reciprocate the attention they get from these married women. And obviously, many of them have been tied to a lot of broken relationships and marriages. So, if you taking your wife or your wife has gone and met such a gym instructor who not only is doing the gym instructing but also can offer extra services, if you know what I mean. Now that is happens a lot, and that's why a lot of these women actually come to the gym, unfortunately. They think they can get a fit looking, strong guy who can pound her, you know. So when she comes here, the moment the guy, the husband or boyfriend walks away, because she has no respect for the man to begin with. So that's why you hear all these things. And it's because a lot of the times when they're talking to scumbag men and gym instructors like that, they'll encourage them. Yeah, he's, when a man is not fit, yeah, your husband should really pick it up. And he'll slowly start cutting you down until she's left there. Most of them won't actually end up dating these women. They just use them for extra money, for fun and whatnot. And there we are.
And they would start to say things like this in the beginning, right? And I would work with these women for about 3 to 6 months, right? Nothing crazy. But as the weeks went on, the flirtations got more and more and more and more and more, right? To the point where it just got to a point where I'm like, "You're married." Like, I wouldn't tell them this, but in my head, I'm like, "You're married. Like, how could you be this flirtatious? Like, how?"
As far as I am concerned personally, even if I'm doing business with a woman and she comes on strong and she's attached to a boyfriend or a husband, I immediately cut it down. Yes, there is a danger that she might feel slighted and go talk nonsense about you, accuse you of things, the normal when they are turned down. But I always do that and make sure that it will never really come back to me because you can't really stop people from lying. So if she lies, she lies. But I'm never going to compromise myself just to keep one client. It's ridiculous.
How could you be egging me on so much? And it would get to a point, I would say typically around week 8, they would be like, "Hey, I'm not gonna lie, like I'm really attracted to you. Like, I don't really do much when I'm at home. My husband's not there, he's always at work. You can come
Yes, the man is at work making sure she lives comfortably, and all she's doing is looking to be sticked somewhere else.
over," or something like that. Or like, "Hey, let's go do this, let's go do that." And I would politely say no. I respectfully say no because obviously, I respect their husbands. I respect what they're doing. I respect the hustle that they're doing. But there's one thing I realized because these demographic of women were rich women, right? And these rich women were always left at home by themselves. They were always bored. So they always wanted to talk to a lot of these guys who were in these services industries, right? They would have their own personal masseuse who was a male. They would have their own trainer who was a male. They'd have their own gardener who was a male. They'd have all these male services around them, right? Clearly for a reason. It never was just that, right?
And this is the thing. A lot of the rich men just think it's enough to just have your money there. You don't need to be careful. How is it that your wife can hire all these people around you to just stare like nothing is happening? Why aren't you in charge of that process? Secondly, why are you married to someone who boredom is enough for her to destroy everything that you've created? I know there are many, that's a lot of this happens because of that, but these are immature children in grown up bodies. You should not, in any circumstance, put yourself in a position where such a person can take you down. The reason I speak with so much authority on this is because it doesn't matter whether we agree that the relationship between men and women is crucial for the continuation of our species and to build things. But if you walk into a bad business deal, you're not building anything, you lose everything. And that's what this is. I always insist a marriage is a business deal. It's just as in this particular case, you're sleeping with your business partner.
It never was just for just like their actual trade work that they did. But as I was talking to them more, I would try to understand what was going on at home because that would give me a good understanding of why they act the way that they act.
It's always that, and I personally wouldn't encourage. You're a trainer. It's not your job to find out what's going on, why she's hitting on you. She's being inappropriate. You should cut it off. What you should do as an honorable man is not only get evidence while you realize when she's doing this and report her to her husband and save another man from being taken advantage of. That's what you should do. So doing these videos, yes, good, gives information, but you as an individual, if you are not reported any of these women to their significant others, you are also in the wrong. You're part and parcel of the deception.
Because I do believe that women who feel neglected or who feel like they're just sitting at home and just like their husband is out doing whatever he's doing, again, respectful because he's going out, he's going on business trips, who knows what he's doing on.
They are not neglected or feel neglected. They simply don't will not have enough. It doesn't matter whether he decides to cut down on the work and stay home. She'll demand more until he is in a position not to deliver. Then she'll blame him because he can't meet her unrealistic demands.
These business trips, of course. But like he's bringing in money, right? She's living this comfortable lifestyle. Why would you talk to a 19-year-old personal trainer who's
Exactly.
in college still? Like, why would you do that? You know what I mean? So it always hit me in the back of my head, like, what's going on? Like, why are you choosing to talk to me versus the guy who's rich? Don't women like rich guys? Don't they only want money?
No, they want the richness and the rich guys, but they also want everything else. They want extra men. If she finds a man attractive, it doesn't matter what station she's at. She wants to be able to just have him. She also wants more and more. I mean, these are questions that we've asked and we found the answer because women tell us every day and they act in a manner to suggest what they're telling us is true. Yes, you might have all the provision and protection and whatnot, but you also have to look like Denzel Washington in his prime or Brad Pitt in his prime. Even now, he still looks decent for a 60-year-old man or something like that. They want you to also not be good looking, be the fittest, be the tallest, be the funniest, and what. So you realize that you're fighting a losing battle because no one person is all those things.
And when I started to really analyze this, I noticed that the money was kind of like a safety net for them. They want the rich guys because the rich guys have the money that will give them the lifestyle that they want. But the fun comes in with the guy who may not be rich, but also has a certain personality and has a certain edge to him that they're super attracted to, more of like the high testosterone guy, right? That like they just have like this crazy fondness of, they fantasize over. a lot of women fantasize over the personal trainer. They fantasize over the masseuse that touches them a little bit in a certain way, and they get excited and they want to do this and they want.
I don't understand any man that will allow their woman to have a male masseuse. The massage process is an extremely intimate process. Why are we kidding ourselves here? If you're not the one massaging your woman, it's either another woman who's hopefully not a lesbian.
Do that. I'm not saying all women, but that happens consistently. And it got to a certain point where I was really just asking so many questions about their relationships, and they would open up. They would say a lot. They say, "Oh, well, you know, he doesn't last very long. Like it's kind of boring. Like I've never orgasmed in my sex life at all." Like they would just like throw this shit out there, and they.
The problem is that a lot of these women marry people they are not attracted to, and then they blame these people that decision on the people. You see, it's very difficult often, except if you're a man, to have an orgasm if you're not attracted to a person. Even for a man, often you can't even raise it up when you find somebody unattractive. So this is not something that they should bring up as something that they are using to try and cheat. You made the decision. You wanted the money and the luxury and the easy life. You do not then get to go outside and put this money, this person's health, this person's wealth in jeopardy because you're bored. You're a child.
Would bash the guy so much, and in my head I'm like, but he's a millionaire. Like, bro, when I tell you, Wellesley, Massachusetts, billionaires out there, right? There are. I remember when I was waiting tables, because I did a little bit of serving at the country club, the Wellesley Country Club. The CEO of Bank of America was there. I'll never forget that. I didn't even know who he was. I served him, right? And these are the types of guys that live there. Like all the NBA players live there, everything, right? And all of their wives, I'm not saying his wife or I'm not saying any NBA player's wife, but like a lot of these rich guys' wives would go to these trainers and they would flirt with them and they would do things with them. And it always puzzled me because I'm like, you have something safe at home. Why are you coming here and taking the risk with somebody? What if he finds out? Right? But then
we have to stop this habit of accepting that women man necessarily they like bad boys, so to speak, the inverted commas. Like you want tumultuous relationships, you want chaos. We must stop accepting this stupid reason why they destroy everything, because it is a stupid reason. Who likes chaos except chaotic people? And why are you engaging yourself with chaotic people, gentlemen? These women can discipline themselves if they want. You people are not making sure that they receive the full repercussions for their actions. There's always some second option for these losers. That's your problem.
Obviously, you know, they have probably half of whatever the guy has and they feel like they can do whatever they want. And it was just crazy to experience this stuff. And they would always talk about how like he doesn't necessarily listen to me, he doesn't pay enough attention to me. I always feel like I'm alone, I'm with the kids. Like I just like want to have some fun, right? And
yes, adolescent thinking.
It's tough to hear this as a man because you're like, man, what if this shit happens to me? Which again, it can happen to anybody. It can happen to me, it can happen to you, it can happen to anybody. It doesn't fucking matter. The reality is it is a possibility, right? But what I've also noticed is it's a possibility that can be reduced if you're a man who can basically do more, right? And again, this is
No. The thing is, it doesn't matter how much more you do. And you see, this is the rabbit hole that such people fall into, and they wonder why they never get to the end of it. You've already done enough by giving her a luxurious life. Everything else is upon her. If she doesn't want, do you have any idea how many poor people are in this world? And you've put this person in a position where they live a luxurious life. You should never take any disrespect. Never that you need to do more for what? You're already outperforming almost all the men in the world. You're rich. You're successful. Why are you even bothering listening to that you need to do more? Doing more is for people who haven't done enough. And by enough, I mean you have not been successful. You have not created a viable economic environment. You've not created any wealth. You don't have any investments. That's the position for beggars. So you need to do more of the little things because you don't have the big things.
Gonna piss off a lot of guys. They're like, why do I have to do more? I just don't want to date women at all. Go ahead, don't do that, right? That's your prerogative. But I
No, we just list them for a weekend. We are not bothered.
take that as a masculine man. I take that as a challenge. Like how can
That is not masculinity. That's being, sorry to say, a bitch. That's not masculinity. You're just kowtowing. Like, this is the most important thing in your life. There are losers out here who have dozens of children. They don't have to do much, but they are given all the treatment. This guy is asking you to do more, while there are losers who are given the womb for free. Get over yourself, son.
I be somebody who's also fun, cool to talk to, like can actually give the woman a good experience while also getting the money as well, right? It's good to have both. But a lot of these guys will be so focused on their careers, which again, respect.
You do not respect it. You keep saying the disclaimer because you don't really, you think it's not enough to be a short caller. If a woman doesn't respect you as a short caller, leave her alone, man. Do not take a step back because you are simping. This is now a mega simp, unfortunately. We've heard him. He said, "Oh no, you're too young. You don't know anything." And you work in the gym and you've flirted a lot of those women. I knew there was something a bit odd. Digging in to find out all these women, why they're doing that. That's not your job. You're a busybody. And that's why you think that you should always be pandering to them.
To them because that's super important. But the women would be on the side just fucking around, right? Idle's mind is the devil's playground, is what I learned.
So you think that you leave your busy business and businesses and you come and spend time with her and she won't do it. Are you dumb or something? What's your name again? Mattel. Are you dumb or something?
Because as they're doing these exercises, they're pointing their butt out a certain way. They want to do more squats. All of a sudden, they want you to get right behind them. They want you to do all these different things. And I just realized, man, I'm like, if you're a dude and you let your woman like go be with like a male trainer or like a male masseuse or any of these different services, you're kind of cooked at the end of the day, especially if you're a grinder, if you're somebody who's really working hard and building and you're not at home very often.
Yeah, so he's telling you basically don't be a grinder, don't be a hard worker because some loser gym instructor will sleep with your wife. They have much easier ways to go about this, young man. We simply list them. Then we leave them to you to go entertain. Personally, I need a womb. I don't need all the feelings and all the womb. You get paid for your womb. You give me my child, and you can go and screw as many gym instructors as you want.
The likelihood of something happening is a lot higher. And I didn't realize this until I went through that process. And once I started to understand, like, it's not about the money. It's not. It's about the fun. It's about the thrill. It's about the emotional roller coaster. A lot of these guys, when I would meet them, when they would come and sit down at like, we would do halfway point reviews and stuff like that. And like they'd want to renew and everything. They would be so excited that I'm working with them. They're like, man, you're doing so great. She looks so amazing, et cetera, right? And it's like they just didn't understand what was going on behind the scenes. It like
No, they're just honest hard workers who don't expect the people they are giving everything to go behind their back and do what they're doing. That's what is going on because this nonsense of trying to pass the blame to men who are working hard to make sure their women are okay. That now you need to do more. Take her to Disney World or take her to this and do that and this and that. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Sorry about that. I had a phone call coming through.
could not even be possible in their mind that their wife would be flirting with a 19-year-old personal trainer. Like what?
No, they know that happens. It's just that they are hoping you're a trustworthy person, that you'll tell them if that happens. That's why they're paying you. Boy,
Like I have the money. Of course she's attracted to me. It's like no. And by the way, a lot of these guys were fat. A lot of these guys were fat, out of shape. I was like, man, I'll train both of you guys. I jokingly say this in the consultations. I'll be like, man, I can train both of you guys. Actually, that'd be dope. And of course, the woman would be like, no, 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 it's just for me. It's just for me. It's just for me. And the guy would be like, yeah, 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 she can have that. I'm good. Now, what's crazy is the woman would want to get in better shape. The man would not. As she got in better shape, she would start to look in different directions, right? I would see the same woman looking at other trainers as well, not just me. I'm not saying that I'm like this Casanova or nothing like that. It was just the idea of being with somebody who was in shape, somebody who was young, somebody who looked adventurous, somebody
Yeah, somebody who has nothing to their name, somebody who will never pay for a quarter of the things she owns. So yeah, it's all that. You think she wants that, of course, and she wants all the money. So what's the point here?
who looked like they were just living life just on the edge. Like that's what they were looking for, you know? And so it got to a certain point where I just realized it's not all that it seems to be. Like chasing money is great to be able to chase a fulfilled life when it comes to like your finances to make sure that you're not stressed all the time. But it gets to a certain point where all of your life as a man has to be balanced.
All right, I'm going to stop that video there. I'll leave the link down below so you can watch the rest of the video. He was going to talk about how you stop chasing money and stop doing this. I'm going to totally disagree with this young man. I know they're being fed this nonsense of a balanced life. The only people who have a balanced life are people who live hand to mouth. So you don't have to spend so much time at work. At the same time, you can spend all your time with your woman and your family. You'll have it nice. She can supplement the income and all those things. But a lot of men are just driven to do everything to the best of their abilities, and that takes time and resources. It will take everything you have. So if you don't have a supportive woman who understands that your goals are paramount, then don't get involved, gentlemen. And I will keep telling you this if you really want, because as far as I'm concerned, personally, I'm not big on the romance thing and all those. What I'm big on is children. And whoever has my children will be compensated handsomely for that. It's a business deal. Such that at any time you feel like you're bored and you want to run off, you can run off and leave me my lineage, which I can add on with any other woman. I'm very serious. That's why you make money, so that you don't have to deal with the women this young man here is being sent to this young man to make fit. I don't know what you think about this video. I know it was a bit out there. Please leave me a comment down below, and of course leave a like for the algorithm. And until next time, peace.